know what the most fun part about all of this is?
What?
We have one take, and it doesn't matter how it goes. It doesn't. You don't have enough time to do it again. You just have to go for it. And I don't even know if people can hear me correctly because this isn't on me. So yours is good on you.
Perfect.
Mine's on me. So cool. Okay, so you're kind of my first guest right now.
Exciting.
But as we talked, not on camera, we have bigger plans for what to have guests on, So as we're still trying to figure this out in this recording studio in the library, we are throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. And the wall is made out of porous foam. Not a lot of stuff sticks to it. That's not supposed to be a deep metaphor or something like that. We just don't even know what we're doing yet,
Right.
So the fun part about this is that we get to make it up, But we don't get to start over. This is the fun part.
Cool.
You get to just kind of try to see what happens. So,
Yep.
As I mentioned to you today, while we were literally just at work at our day job, was that I was thinking about not recording today.
Why?
Why? Oh, I wasn't prepared for you to ask me why.
Why are you not? It's your
That's
goal.
a great question.
It's something that you've been loving to do, so it's like, why?
The short answer is that I'm very tired, and I did not sleep very well, and I didn't work out this morning. All of these excuses, right? They're building up in my head.
Yep.
I'm saying why, as in I could have done it tomorrow. I didn't have a lot of confidence that my speaking voice would have been very, high caliber if I did this right now.
I think your voice sounds amazing right now.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Of course.
But I had all these excuses built up in my head because I wanted it to be perfect or something, or I've wanted it to be perfect in the past. Mostly recently. We're about a month in now. But this idea struck me pretty much right away after I was been telling you, I don't really want to record today, maybe tomorrow. Oh, we'll edit that out. Maybe not. Maybe I'll leave that in. What I wanted to do was I wanted to go home, but when I remember this is what I want to do, and you can't just do things when they're convenient, you have to do it when it's hard anyway. I thought of you because you're getting up in the morning and you're going to tree line every day, if not, every other day, maybe take a day off a week or something like that. Does that get tiring?
It doesn't, because I love tree line and I love going and getting my coffee, and every single day, I wake up, I get ready for the day, make my bed, and first thing I do is go get my tree line, and it's kind of bad how much money I spend at tree line.
On coffee, maybe.
On coffee.
Yeah, right.
But it gets me out of the house. I only allow myself to wake up, be on my phone for a max of 15 minutes, and then I get up and I get ready for the day, and it would help me stay motivated throughout my day and feel like I'm actually getting things done, even though if I'm going to go sit there and I only have 45 minutes before work, or I have an hour before work.
You do it anyway.
I do it anyway, no matter what, even if it's going to go pick up a coffee, and it gets me started for the day, and I know that that's what I'm going to do. Then, as I'm going to bed the night before, and then when I get to tree line, if I know I have to get some work done, I plan out my day, or if I have errands, I plan out my day, and if
you do that at tree line?
Yeah, I do that at tree line.
Gotcha. Okay.
Depending how important it is, if it's something I need to stop on the way to tree line, I'll go do that. But if it's
right.
Usually tree line is my first stop of the day, and yes,
So I struggle with the procrastination of things a lot, where I tell myself, I referenced in my last episode that I run into this issue of thinking that my outcome isn't important very often, and it helps me delay what I want to do because I just can convince myself that future me will figure it out if it's that important. Or if I don't really think I want to take care of it, I'll just show up another time or something like that. Or I'll wait until I'm more motivated so that way it'll be more worth it. But you have embodied discipline pretty well, where you don't even let that be a question in your mind. You know you're just going to get work done anyway. Even if, like, do you have days that are more productive than others? How do you approach that? How do you let that happen?
100%. I'll wake up and there's some days where I know there's a lot of work that needs to be done and I don't know where to start. And so I'll sit there on my computer or pull up my phone and scroll on Instagram, and then I'll be like, get back to work. And yeah, just a couple days ago with our buddy, I just got really distracted and didn't...
I think I know which buddy this is.
Yep, yes you do. And started pulling up stuff about my car and my project car. It's like, that's not important right now. And I had much more important things to do, and then I said, you know what? I'll put the important things to do aside. I can come back. I know I'll be here tomorrow. I'll work on it tomorrow. And then my buddy was like, hey, well, I'm leaving for the day. I got my work done. And I was like, cool. I'm leaving too. I've got my work done now as well. And then I completely just left and, didn't feel accomplished whatsoever, except I found out a couple interesting things about my project car that, I could have found out at a later date. Mm-hmm. And so...
Like, that wasn't why you went to Treeline that day.
It was not. When I woke up, I intended that I was supposed to get this, and this done, marketing stuff for the new business, and it didn't work out.
And that didn't.
The way
and that's not
it.
the way it went. Okay,
Yeah.
But you found ways to interweave either maybe more fun work or like I'll find ways that if I don't feel like I want to get the thing done that I came to do, I'll shop, or even
Right.
if I don't, I'll dream shop or something, which is a term I made up to be like, I know I'm not going to buy anything, but I'm setting up my dreams for what I would want to buy next time.
For sure.
Or something. Saving tabs, right?
Yeah.
Like, Tom Segura has this bit where he will go shopping for yachts, and he'll add a yacht to his car.
Build his own yacht.
And it's like a $300 million yacht, and he'll be like, save to cart. I'll do this.
I'll get it later.
I'll do this later. So it's like I would think of that when I think of
right.
adding a bunch of stuff I'd want, and then that's not work at all. But I'm still it's sometimes work to me because sometimes I think of shopping as I don't know why I don't want to do this. I think of money leaving my pocket and stuff like that. So, but you're finding a way to still get something done if it's on a different mental caliber than what you're trying to handle. And sometimes coffee shops are the perfect place to handle that kind of stuff, especially if you don't want to work from home.
Yep.
But then coffee shops become this place where it's social and fun and lively, and all of the baristas there, right?
Yep.
They pretty much go through you to get hired. They're like, this is our town Zane. This is our guy.
The top customer of 2023 right here.
Wait, is that a plaque? Is that something somewhere?
No, but I did earn it. It doesn't say it's somewhere.
Is this real?
Yes, I won top customer of the Treeline Roasting Room of the year 2023 based on my spending.
Oh,
because I spent the most money on coffee that year.
Not just general vibe and friendliness.
Nope, just
money.
My wallet.
Your contribution.
My contribution.
Your investments.
Got to keep the lights on for them, right?
That is what they say.
Exactly.
Well, I like it. I like that. It's a good place to be, But
yes.
I'm still so intrigued, because I was telling you I was planning on not doing this today, or I was planning on doing this today, and then I was like, oh, maybe I can do it again tomorrow. But we're in the library recording studio, and I know that they close at 8. Right now it's 7:23. We got plenty of time. But I couldn't just go back to my bedroom where I've been recording. I'm glad I got it off the ground, but the thought of regressing back to that was not an option. And I thought, if I don't do it today, I can very well just do it the same time tomorrow. I can book another appointment with this room. I don't see anyone else really booking this room at all. But you just reminded me. You were like, no, you want to do this. This isn't something that you have a deadline or that you can push off because it's just what you do and it feels like busy work. No, this is actually fun. And the editing part isn't that fun, so maybe that happens tomorrow or something. But I want everyone to know that just because I've started recording this on a whim, I'm not good at this yet. I'm not good at any of this procrastination stuff, I think it still affects me a lot, So I did want to dive into a little bit more of that today. So that is the word of the day, as we discussed. So we're going to do a word of the day today. We're not always going to do a word. I don't think we're going to do a word of the day on guest days,
Cool.
Because it's going to be about Hey, I'm leaving that in.
Apologies.
No, I'm kidding. You're allowed to be human. Strikingly. But as we're rolling with it, this word procrastination, it does come up a lot. And I like I said, I don't want to be doing this with guests frequently unless it like is perfectly planned and cummed up. Like I think this is more of like a personal study type thing,
Yeah.
So as we're trying to like figure this out, I do have this word of the day prepared, but then we do like real guest situations in the future. We'll rethink that, I guess. So procrastination is defined from Merriam-Webster as to put off intentionally and habitually. Habitually being like more often and with repeated instances. And intentionally is not an accident. You know damn well what you're doing, is what it's saying.
Yeah.
Urban Dictionary defines it as, I'll put up a definition later. That's literally what it says. and then in the example it says, I'll put up an example later. which I liked. And obviously that's why I like comparing them, because the Urban Dictionary is like, actually, what's the real digs here? And that's how it feels. It feels like later is just eventually. And there's some things that I procrastinate that I never get around to. And then there's things like I talked about in my last episode that I procrastinated, booking this recording studio for the first time. I put it off for like a week to figure out even how to do it. And then I found out that my library card wasn't active. And then I found out that I never had a PIN number. And then I came here to try to figure that out, and no one was here. And I was like, oh, maybe I can do this later. And then I was like, no, you want to do this.
Yep.
Do it. Stick down and do it. And don't just put it off like it's a job or like it's a... I guess you shouldn't put off your job anyway. But like... Don't just put it off because you've always had the freedom to do whatever you want. Like, commit to this direction that you're going in,
When I was listening to that part of the last episode, or when you spoke about that in that episode, I
didn't pay him to do that.
The way I was thinking about that, like, if that were me, if I were to show up to a place and I was supposed to get something done and there's just, like, no one there, I would have been like, well, like, what time did I put into this? It's like...
Yeah, good.
It's like, it's... Yes, it feels like a waste of time, like, coming here and figuring out nothing, so then I also think, well, I also like driving, and I like making myself feel like I'm being productive when I'm not, so you know what, I will come back tomorrow because I liked the drive here.
Because I can look forward to the journey.
And I can look forward to the journey again.
Oh, that's so cool,
so, so it's okay, I get to drive home again, and then do it again, even though I wasted time, but in the moment I felt like I was being productive and I tried when I didn't really try much.
Interesting.
So
okay.
Then I'm like, well, I'll plan it for the next day, and then I'll actually go and take care of it the next day. And I got the feeling of being productive, but it's like I wasted all that time yesterday when I should have just done it yesterday.
Interesting. I struggle with that because I go home defeated if I don't take care of the thing that I came out to do. Or, for example, one time I was really upset that I was getting some late notice bill for my car payment. It was like a year ago. Turns out that I was paying 1 month behind for over a year, and so I would pay, and then it immediately send me a late notice, and it would update itself. And I was so frustrated I was going to figure it out. And I went out to Intrepid Credit Union here in town to like go up to their desk instead of online portal. Holy cow, I said that weird. And I was going to figure it out. And of course, it was Memorial Day. And I walk in and the door's shut. And I'm like, I drove all the way across town. And I'm so frustrated because that literally is a barrier. No one's inside to help you. And I drove home just being like, why didn't I look up? I was so confident they were open, Like it was Monday. Like, why didn't I look up what they were doing,
Right.
But I didn't. It's hard. It was hard for me. Maybe still is hard for me to like find that silver lining and like enjoy the ride anyway and be like, oh, I will take care of this tomorrow. Because then the next day I felt like, oh, I should have had this done by now.
Right.
That was the feeling I got. I still took care of it, but I remember it kind of is an avenue for me to self-deprecate, which I didn't like. And you don't strike me as someone who struggled with that in that example.
I've definitely gone through those moments where I've, made those... I've gone and done things and feel like, and I wish I had just done it before. And
instead of being happy that you were taking care of it then.
Right.
Which is what they say, right?
Exactly.
Like, don't worry about that. You're taking care of it now.
Exactly. But I also try and tell myself it's okay. You've gotten to this point to do it today, and take care of it now, and don't let it happen again. And I feel like I will always continue to do that in my life until it's like it's almost like it's never too late. And then, but you can also, you can go so long and be so old and be like, it's too late.
This will be a future episode of mine.
Okay, yeah. So
is it ever too late?
Right.
So, but we'll touch on that
yeah.
another time. But I agree. Yeah. It's important to remind yourself that they say the best time to plant a tree was yesterday, and the second best time to plant a tree is today.
Right.
And that's actually a metaphor. Because it doesn't have to be about planting trees, it turns out. It can actually apply to other things.
Exactly.
But I was planting a lot of trees trying to figure out what the meaning of that sentence was. And someone was like, hey, you dummy. Wash your hands. Get inside. And I was like, oh, just kidding. That last part was a joke. But, yeah, it is. It does apply. Wow. Great train of thought there. I totally forgot. This is exactly what this whole thing's supposed to be about, Like, if this was me in my bedroom a couple weeks ago, I think by this point, duration-wise, I think I would have been on some other thing by now, And there's like an agenda in my head of what I think should happen, but I would much rather things just happen naturally and flow through, like whatever comes up, Like I think of Joe Rogan a lot and how he's on episode 2,100 and something like that, And he's like, year after year, the top podcast on any streaming service, right?
Yep.
And I don't think he goes in with any sort of plan, ever, He brings someone on that he likes or knows or wants to get to know and just sees what happens. Now, he also does have Jamie, who can just pull up whatever they're talking about at any given moment and either fact check if they want to or, pull up a funny video or something like that. Like, that's an awesome job,
yep.
A teleprompter type. Not what's that thing where you're typing in a courtroom and you're transcribing?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I have no idea the name. Hey Jamie, what's that thing?
Shut the fuck up. Nice one though, nice. Hey, pull that up. Jamie. Hello.
Jamie, where are you?
We need you. Speaking of, I've spent $0 on this so far. We're 5 episodes in, and I've not spent a dime.
I love it, dude. That's amazing.
Yeah.
You've spent your time, but
I spent my time, and I already own the equipment that I'm using, so
exactly.
I don't count that.
Perfect. And you've been learning things. So.
I have been learning a lot.
You're profitable already, dude.
Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, learning.
What does profitability mean? Does that mean like able to be spent? Like someone's able to buy it? I guess, okay. Because I spent $0.
Yeah, I guess I'm saying I'm referring to $0 to time. But I think time is money.
Time is money.
Learning is...
If anyone wants to pay me just for doing this, let me know. We'll get there. I don't have ads yet. I'm not eligible for that yet. That's funny. My time is worthless, so this is profitable to the max. I've spent nothing, and my time is invaluable, and by that I mean not valuable.
Right. I was referring to as what you've learned is the value.
Oh, that is true. That I definitely, I would say.
And that's why I said, you're profitable because you've learned a lot in the last 5 episodes, 4 episodes.
Spent none on it, yeah.
Even then, you've spent nothing except for your time.
I do frequently browse the r/podcasting subreddit. I started to become a member of there, and I message every now and then. And I come across, I really need to be delicate about what I say here because eventually if someone comes across my channel and they hear that I'm smack talking someone else on Reddit, I'm going to get flamed for it. But I come across, I don't know, censorship. No censorship. I come across people that are like, what do you find the best way to get started? Or like, what equipment did you buy to get things off the ground? And not only from my personal experience doing this for 3 weeks or whatever, But everyone else who commented was just like, you asking that question of what equipment you need to own before you make something happen is similar to you giving yourself a reason to not get started. Because if you're about to either save up money to try to get the equipment you need that other people have that are destined for success, you're also telling yourself that you're not ready. And everyone in the comments was like, dude, just start. Film yourself with your phone camera. See if you have anything important to say. And then post it. And if anyone listens to it, great. If no one listens to it, do it again. Do it anyway. Keep doing. You know? And sometimes I feel like people don't want to hear that, you know? But, like, I mean, you strike me as someone who just kind of does whatever they want anyway. You know? You didn't ask yourself, like, what laptop do you need to own before you start budgeting for your business expenses, you know?
Right.
You just started doing it.
Yeah, I definitely, you know, if there's something I want, I go and I do my best to get it, even though when it's probably not the smartest of decisions.
Financially? Yeah, I like shiny stuff. I do.
Yeah, exactly.
But does that prevent you from getting things started if you want to?
It doesn't. It doesn't. So when I was fresh out of high school, it was 2020, graduated, and I
Zoomer.
I started.
Zoomer.
I was working at a fried chicken restaurant in town, The Roost.
And, yeah.
And COVID. Actually, sorry, I'll go back a little bit. I was a senior in high school. We're approaching spring break, 2020. This is right before the world shut down because of COVID.
Right.
I set up my week during spring break to just work. Then they quit or they fired me because of COVID, and they said
laid you off, maybe.
Yeah, they laid me off.
Yeah.
They didn't fire me. They laid me off.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, how do I make money? And came across shipped grocery delivery, and I would deliver groceries.
No way. That's right. That's how you started doing that.
Yes. So I was basically the only one in Bozeman doing grocery delivery, and I would work 12 hours a day, and I was doing online school at this point through the high school, and I would just figure that out at night, and everything was so lax back then that I didn't really care if I failed because I would still get an A, and I was doing really well for myself. Then I graduated, and I was like, I want to buy a nice Jeep, so I went and bought a really nice Jeep. It was a 2020 Rubicon, Wrangler Rubicon, and it had all the bells and whistles. And my father co-signed on it, and he said, as long as you pay the bills, like as long as you don't affect my credit, the car is yours. Well, did that for the summer, and the world started coming back alive. College students came back to Bozeman to go to Montana State, and everybody started getting on Shipt and started doing it themselves. So it was taking my customers and stopped making as much money.
Yeah, because you had intended to keep doing that.
Yeah,
right?
that was how I made my money.
It was good income.
And I was
it's not like you were going to start doing fried chicken again, right?
No, exactly. I didn't intend to do that. And in my own way, I was working for myself and on my own time.
American dream.
And I was paying all my payments, and I was saving a lot of money doing it. Then everybody came, and that was stripped away from me. Went through my savings really quick, paying off my monthly payment on my Jeep. And
so that was your COVID.
Yeah, that was my COVID.
Yeah, you were like, what the heck?
Yeah, then I was like, okay, how do I afford this Jeep without selling it? I'm going to be negative because how much I owe on it and the depreciation of the vehicle. And so I found out about the Turo rental car platform, and I started renting the car out. And back then it was like only 6 cars listed on the Turo platform. And
oh my gosh, I had never connected that being the lore between the grocery and the rental car.
And going and buying this big, shiny, expensive Jeep when an 18-year-old does not need that. I just wanted it, and it ended up biting me in the butt. But then I was like, well, how do I keep this thing that I wanted? And built up the Turo rental car business. And
oh, wait, so that's so cool because you, instead of seeing that as a huge mistake and a failure and you have to find a way to liquidate it, you were like, well, what do I have to change about my life to persist in this spending.
Yeah.
That's already part of your life. You probably didn't want to get rid of it, right? That's
No,
probably a
yeah.
big reason why you were like, no.
I was going to be
it's gonna look
embarrassed.
real dumb if you have to buy
Yeah.
a beater, Yeah.
Right.
But you rose to that occasion.
Yeah.
Not everyone does that. Some people just throw in the towel and they say like, no, this isn't actually what I want to do anymore.
Right.
Continue,
Yeah.
sorry.
So yeah, no, you're 100% right.
Yeah.
I, had this big, shiny, expensive thing, and I needed to make it work. I was in love with the car.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 18 years old, and was like,
dream car.
thought I was hot shit around town, and
Allegedly.
exactly, and yeah, I turned it into a business, and I ended up making really good money on the vehicle, and I sold it 3 years later with, thousands of miles on it, and profited heavily on just that vehicle.
It had to have been more than thousands of miles, right?
It was.
The average American drives
sold it at
10,000 a year.
75,000 miles, and it was within 3 years it had 70,000 miles on it.
Oh yeah, that's okay.
So,
all right. Now that's big league money.
Tens of thousands.
Yeah. Never mind.
And, yeah, but yeah, it scared the heck out of me when I realized I couldn't make this payment of this thing that I wanted, and begged my dad to co-sign. And that was also the big thing. It's like, if I don't make this payment, I'm going to affect my father's credit score, and he's not going to want to pay for that.
Ooh,
expensive
talk about a
monthly
motivating
payment.
factor.
So that was very
Yeah.
motivating, and yeah.
Maybe that's a good strategy. If you yourself are in a dream scenario looking to buy something, involve your parents and put them at risk. And that
Exactly.
way, yes, there's
100%.
consequences. Involve consequences. I'm
Right.
joking. But an actual good takeaway from that is if you are finding yourself incapable to proceed, or if you find yourself procrastinating or stuck or whatever it is, like an actual good strategy is social contract. And
Yep.
commit to something. Set a goal, like we talked about. We've talked about the goals episode already. Set that goal, and then tell somebody, and then involve them somehow. In this case, you were very involved. Your father very, helpfully
Right.
was willing to sign on with this, which is awesome.
Yep.
But even in smaller examples, if you wanted to start this rental car business just to get yourself back up to that point, I keep saying, I got to edit all that out. I don't actually. But if you're building up the courage to start this rental car business, like, did you tell anybody about that, or did you keep that between you and your dad? Or?
When I was looking up to find ways to make money using my vehicle, Turo came up.
Mm-hmm.
And I immediately told my dad. He's like, okay. He's like, why don't you go list it on there and see what happens?
Mm-hmm.
And immediately within a day of listing it, the car was booked for the winter.
Wow.
I joined in the fall, right before winter.
Really cool. Okay.
And
yeah.
So then that's when I immediately knew, okay, like there is a big need for this. And I told my dad, hey, we need to buy more cars. We need to stick more cars on this platform.
Yeah.
So him, my dad, and we started reaching out to his contacts, his friends, our family,
Mm-hmm.
and other people that we knew that could potentially afford extra vehicles or had vehicles laying around.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of where it went.
And just list them. They
Yeah.
don't have to be bought from the lot.
Yeah, so like let's say
Not the detailed.
I went to Zeke and I said, hey Zeke,
me.
I'll make you passive income on this vehicle.
Uh-huh.
Just either give me your vehicle that's sitting there or go buy a new vehicle, and I'll take 30% of your earnings, and this is what I'll do for you. And it was from listing the vehicle to completely storing the vehicle, cleaning the vehicle, delivering it to customers, picking it up from customers, and handling all maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
And then invoicing you at the end of the month.
Because you're managing someone's car.
Correct. Yeah, I was managing everybody's investments, all their vehicles, and I would just take 30% of their earnings, and it was zero risk to me. The only risk would be I mess up and I lose the investor, the person with the vehicle.
Yeah. Did that get fishy with any clients? Did anyone say like, this doesn't sound right?
There was a gentleman that that purchased a vehicle to give to me.
Mm-hmm.
He claimed that I was charging too much for my service. And
Right, I think I remember you mentioning that.
Yep, I don't believe I was, and all of my investors were very happy. And
You're like, respectfully, no one else agrees
exactly.
with you.
I was also at this time, the period of time I was doing this Turo, people were seeing literally like anywhere from 30 to 50% returns on their vehicle in a year.
Oh, yeah, because they're not the one driving it around all the time.
Right. Yeah, and so their vehicles were getting paid off really quick, and that's how amazing this market was over here. So
Yeah, no, I bet.
but he didn't like that I was taking this 30%, and actually I bumped him down to 25%, and he dealt with it for a couple of months, and then he just said, "Hey, I'm going to just do it myself," which, go make a few $1,000s more to do it yourself. Like, that's completely fine.
But understand the work that goes into it.
Right. And I'm not sure how much longer he did it. I think he only got one more car after, and after about a year or two, he sold his cars.
No, it's not for everybody, I'm sure.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that is a considerable amount of like actual labor that goes into that. It's not just like listing and driving and dropping off and signing papers. You're ensuring that the car is what someone who's picking it up says it is too.
Right.
So that brings like detailing into it too, right? Like detailing, washing, that kind of stuff.
Correct.
Yeah. Do you want to elaborate further on that and how that has shaped your future, or like?
Yeah.
Or
also to relate it to like the procrastination side of things, the reason I am no longer in the business is
the human part for me.
The human part. It got to the point where I built the business to about 25 cars, and I was having my sister help me, or whoever was in town, friends, they would help me deliver cars, clean cars, pick me up from the airport, and I would shoot them some cash to help me out. It got to the point where having to deal with 25 cars and their maintenance schedules and rotating tires to whatever it was, it was getting very draining. And then for also, I'm a huge traveler, that I travel a lot.
Oh yeah,
and
it was good to get your time.
It was making it so like I could barely leave. I could barely enjoy my time, and I started failing. I started making mistakes and forgetting about these appointments. And
oh no,
it was very important that I was getting these cars to these appointments, because if your car is showing a check engine light, it could easily get unlisted from Turo because of that, because a customer will report it and they're like, I don't feel safe driving this car. So
I like the color of the light though.
Yeah,
it's very nice.
Yes.
So you brought procrastination as an idea back into this. Was this similar because you were looking to experience your own life? Take that freedom back and say like, no, I want to travel, but you have so much tying you down.
Exactly.
How did that?
Yeah. So I started getting demotivated and just uninterested in the business, and even though I would get a booking, I would get a notification like, oh, you just got a $1,000 booking. Like in the past, I would get so excited by that, and by the time I was ending it, I would just be like, like, dang, that sucks. I have to wake up early now and go and take that. And that's when I woke up one morning and I'm like, this is unhealthy for me, and I'm no longer, putting blood, sweat, and tears like I had promised my investors.
Yep.
And so that's when I said, okay, I need to get back to something healthy in my life. And
good.
I procrastinated a lot by just ignoring a lot of it, the important things.
So you procrastinated dealing with the fact that it was draining from your life?
Yes, and the things that were important to other people that should have been more important to me.
Oh, okay. This is like that classic Disney trope of like, man has big dream, man does not come home to wife, wife sad, man sells dream to be with wife, like it's humbling because that is a sacrifice that you have to make consistently. Do you want that experience now and those memories that, these are our 20s. This is the time that they say that you can't really make mistakes. The only mistake you can make is to do nothing at all. And, but at the same time, you're wrestling with this fact that you have like dreams, goals, aspirations, desires that can be multiplied in their magnitude if you work hard and you stick with something. So battling with how you want to navigate that is like, I think it's a personal journey for everybody. I think you mentioned really well that it was something you noticed that you kind of tried to pretend it wasn't happening for as long as you could, but I'm really glad that it didn't affect you for very long.
Right.
Your ability to just be like, oh, this is not healthy.
Yep.
That's powerful.
Yep.
That's awesome. I recommend people do that.
Yes. Yeah. Glad I'm out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But also reflecting back, I think it would have been better if I just restructured everything and I could have continued to be successful.
Could you have? I mean, hindsight's 20/20 here, which is not a COVID joke. But could you have gone in with a better understanding of the time you would balance through, or like could you have anticipated that you wanted to carry less vehicles?
Yeah, my biggest goal was to get as many vehicles as I could.
Yeah, because it's cash cow.
It's exactly making a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if I really put my foot down and found a good employee, person that I could trust that would show up on time,
Mm-hmm.
and we built it together and scaled it together, I think that would have been much more healthier and successful.
Yeah, because then you could designate tasks between you.
Exactly. I was doing everything by myself for the most part and having everything stuck in my head rather than writing it down.
I was hoping you wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
Because I am really good at telling myself that I'm really good at not writing anything down.
Exactly.
I go into the grocery store and I'm like, all right, universe, what are we picking up today? Is it butter? No. Okay, we don't have butter anymore. It's like that's I consistently forget to write a to-do list and stuff. So and also part of procrastination, to bring it home as well, is that for me to acknowledge that I need a list is for me to put my priorities at such a high capacity that I have to live the life of someone who needs that structure. And part of me wasn't willing to accept that I was taking myself that seriously. And so if I were to start a business of that scale and want to handle it all on myself so that I kept it all so that I could keep it all in my head, I wouldn't want to start writing things down out of fear of success. I think was the real issue. I didn't want things to go well faster than I could anticipate them. I didn't want to crash and burn. I didn't want to get in over my head. And maybe I wasn't mature enough to say that that's what the life I wanted to live. So still, I do struggle with that. I do struggle with like, oh yeah, whatever I get done today, it's progress.
Right.
But I don't want to compare it to something I've written down as where I wanted to have by then. So maybe I have a fear of setting goals, even though we've gone over goals and what those look like.
You've inspired me to write things down because I know you carry your notebook around, and I've seen you.
I do write things down now, yes.
And I've seen you carry the notebook around, and I'm like, that's smart. And recently, I've been thinking, okay, like I've been learning quite a few things. I should write that down, and then I'm like, no, it's fine. I'll remember it. And then a couple days later,
you don't. Yeah, you don't.
A couple days later, I'm like, man, what was that? Yeah. And I'm really bummed because I'm like, I could have really learned a lot from that. And
thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah, and you've been the inspiration.
Really?
As to why I want to start writing things down.
Whoa, okay.
Whether it's just like making a new note on my phone. And
oh, dude, huge. Yeah.
Yes.
I definitely, I have my own people to thank, but daily journaling and writing down, like my favorite app ever is the Notes app.
Yeah.
It's not very safe. Because you delete something on there, it is gone.
Right.
It has like a recently deleted folder, but like people are like, no, back that stuff on Google Notes, back that stuff on Word or whatever like that. And I'm just like, no, boop, it's right there. Doesn't take a while to load. Yeah, thank you. I didn't know that. Thank you. I should also mention we're literally about to get kicked out of here, so we should probably wrap this up.
Yes.
I didn't really go into this thinking that we'd be recording for 45 minutes.
Wow.
And I don't know if we mentioned at all in this recording session at all, but I had like a full plan of what we were going to talk about. And the funny thing was, it doesn't matter because we can do that later. We can do that another time,
Yeah.
I didn't know you were going to be joining me here today.
Right. Yeah, it was very last minute.
To the listeners, yes, I have plans of how I want, bringing a guest on to go. I want to model it just like Chris Williamson, my biggest inspiration, Modern Wisdom. He just he dives into it. He has a list prepared and things like that. None of this is prepared. And I think it went really well, little recording self-reflection part,
Right.
This wasn't 3 hours. We could keep going, but legally you can't. We have to leave.
We'll turn off the light and just hide.
Oh, we could, yeah. Actually, they're so sweet too. They could just let us stay here, so, yeah. Hello.
Yes.
No, they already find
I completely forgot you were planning on talking about a bunch of different
That's
things.
the funny thing. What would it be like for me to say, like, okay, we're done talking about that now. On to this thing. That doesn't matter.
Okay,
you know?
Zeke.
Okay, sounds like someone has a lot to say, you know? Like, that's not the point, you know? I'm proud of that. I'm proud of having done the reflection enough to say that's not what I want, you know? Because I was worried that I would at one point say something along the lines of like, well, this isn't what I had planned or something. Like before I started the podcast at all, I was like, what if I plan too much? Or what if I plan not enough, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's going exactly the way it's supposed to, you know?
I love it.
I have had, 70 listeners to this point?
No way.
That's not very many.
Dude,
but it's going, yeah.
I think
guess,
it's a lot.
I think it is a lot. If I think of, they say like, you don't think 100 listeners is big, but imagine speaking to 100 people in a room. Chills, kind of. You know?
100%.
So okay. Maybe let me rephrase that. Thank you so much for listening, all of you guys so far. This has been incredible. And I think of the dreams and high goals and aspirations that I have, and I'm like, oh, it's still such humble beginnings, but it really is going well, and I think it is something I'll continue to do. So, thank you for listening. Thank you for coming on, Zane.
Thank you.
This will be a much more formal introduction next time because we have a lot more to talk about. We have a lot more to plan, and it's been great doing business, friendship, life with you so far.
100%.
So,
I'm really glad that we've gotten closer, and literally I've known you 4 years, but
so
recently,
right.
really gotten to know you the last few months, and
really
I'm
cool.
really appreciative of you, and thank you so much for bringing me on. And this has been awesome. I love talking about this stuff.
This is so fun, and to the listeners, we didn't know 3 hours ago that we would be doing this. It was just kind of like, oh, Zane doesn't have anything to do this afternoon until he picks up his sister from the airport. Do you want to come with me? And I was like, well, I said, do you want to come with? And he was like, yeah, that'd be great. So if that sounds like a plan for you, you come join me at the library Tuesday evenings. We'll talk. Don't worry. We'll get you on.
Yes.
So, all right. Well, I think that's going to be a wrap. And at this point in the recording, or at this point in the podcast, the outro music has probably started playing, and it will start fading in to the point in which I will stop talking. And that point is right now. All right, see you next week.